How's it going, YouTube? I'm Tyler and welcome to episode 2 of the Project CB500 series on the Fish Moto channel. So just to recap, in episode 1, showed you Flora's new big bike. It's a Honda CB500 and we got a few bits to do to it. We made a start on all the work by giving the front braking system a complete overhaul, and the episode ended with me waiting for a new master cylinder to turn up because the one Wiimoto had sent was faulty. Well, since then, the new one's arrived, I've fitted it, and that's everything done. So in today's video, we're going to be moving on to the next job, which is giving the front forks a complete overhaul and refurbishment. The forks on these bikes are 30-something years old, they're all corroded and pitted and don't look the greatest, but as well as that, the dust seals have dried out and cracked, the fork seals are leaking, and to be honest, they don't feel like they've got much fork oil left in them neither. So it's definitely time to give them a complete overhaul and refurb. So I'm going to make a start by getting the front end off of the bike and the forks on my workbench. And that's the front forks off the bike and on the bench. I've already given them a quick clean up to get rid of all the leaking oil. Now they're ready to have a complete strip down and overhaul. Once you've got the forks apart and laid out on the bench, it should look similar to this. It's at this stage where if you're just changing the fork seals or the bushings or both, you can go ahead, change them out and rebuild the forks. But today I'm going one step further, as these lower fork legs, brand new from the factory, were polished and clear coated and look quite nice. But if you turn them around, you can see that over time they've had a lot of corrosion. So before rebuilding the forks, I'm going to polish these up and get them looking like new again. I make a start with a wire wheel in a drill, getting into all the corners and hard to get areas. After that, I then move on to the small 120 grit flat wheel and blend in all those areas the best I can. I go over the whole entire fork leg and blend it all together with a big 120 grit flat wheel. The 120 grit flat wheel does a really good job, but it leaves quite a heavy grain finish. So because of this, I'm now going to re-go over the whole entire fork leg with a medium grade Scotch-Brite wheel to soften the finish and leave it with a nice shiny brush look. So that's the fork legs all done. They've had about 4 coats of clear and they're now going to need 24 hours to dry. So in the meantime, I'm going to get on with a few extra jobs, like changing over the front brake disc for a brand new one, as that's the one component of the front braking system I didn't replace in the last video. It's now the following day, and the clear coat on the lower fork legs has had plenty of time to go off and cure properly. Overall, I'm really happy with the result, and it's definitely time well spent because they look really good. With them done and all the other parts cleaned up and prepped, ready to go back together, I can now get on with rebuilding the forks, then the front end of the bike.
I'll make a start by removing the lower fork guide. The old one is all worn, and this is why we're replacing it for a new one. Quick clean up, then it's ready for the new one. Before we fit the new one, it's a good idea to cover it in some fork oil. And then with that on and done, we can start assembling the inner fork leg. New copper crush washers for all the bolts. And once again, more fork oil to lube everything up. With both the forks back together, I can then put the retaining bolt back in. Pinch bolt. And now we're ready for the new upper fork guide. Once again, oil that up and the fork tube. Slide it over, and my little trick for getting these to go in is I keep hold of the old one, I lay it on top of the new one, get your big washer, put that over the top, and then use your fork seal driver to drive it into place. When it's in place, it should look like this. Next is the new fork seal. Using the fork driver, I put this into place. You know when it's seated correctly because you should be able to see the groove for the retaining clip. Once it's seated correctly, I fit the retaining clip, just pop it into place, followed by the new dust seal. With all those bits done, I'll give it a quick clean up. And it's now ready to add the fork oil. With the fork oil in, I now pump the tube a few times to prime it to get rid of any air, and then check my air gap. Once I've got the correct air gap, I go ahead, refit the spring, washer, followed by the big spacer. Then I can do up the top nut.
And that's it, job done. Forks are completely refurbished and back on the bike. Overall, I'm really pleased with the result. They look really good and they work as they should, but let me know what you think in the comments. So that's going to be it for episode 2. But if you like the video, make sure to hit the big like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications button to be notified when episode 3 comes out. Because in episode 3, I'm going to be getting rid of this manky old exhaust system for a full stainless steel exhaust system. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in episode 3.